Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for organic Bible study. You've entered the Bible Bistro zone. Come on in, sit down. We've got some great, delicious Bible study for you today. And today we're looking at verses 6 and 7 of Psalm 12. If you haven't found Daily Dose Radio yet on social media, check us out on Facebook. You can go to my page. It's the Reverend David B. Smith. It's a teaching pastor's page. You can go there and find Daily Dose Radio uploaded every day. You'll also find Daily Dose Radio on Twitter and on SoundCloud and YouTube. Now, I want to thank all my SoundCloud and YouTube listeners for being there. It's also on Stitcher and some other sites. If you go to mydailydose.com, you'll see those links to those social sites, and you can go right there to your favorite one and find me. Go ahead and like the page and follow me on Twitter if you can. We're looking at verses 6 and 7 today, so let's go ahead and read. The Lord's words are pure words, silver refined in a furnace, of earth refined 7 times. You, O Lord, will keep them. You will keep them from this generation unto eternity. All right, so we have a beautiful thing that's been set up for us. In verses 2 and 3, you remember we talked about the overwhelming amount of language that was there about speech. They speak vanity. Their speech is a speech that's duplicitous. Their words are smooth. They have a tongue of great things. That is a tongue of pride. They say in verse 4, with our tongue we will give strength, our speech is ours, who is Lord over us? Then we have that in verse 4 compared or contrasted with the Lord's speech. What he says is, from the violence of the poor to the groaning of the oppressed, now I will rise up. I will set him in safety from them that puff at him. So we have those two speeches contrasted. Now verse 6 is a contrast with verse 2. They speak vanity to his neighbor. Their speech is duplicitous. They have smooth words and tongue of pride. What is the Lord's speech like? In the Hebrew, the contrast is very nice because you have one word that's used for the speech of the wicked or the sons of men in verse 2 and in verse 3. And then it's contrasted with a word that can be translated speech in verse 6. Now, I just read it as the Lord's words, because usually this will be translated as words, but you could translate it as speech. And so it could be the Lord's speech is smooth or is pure speech. Silver refined in a furnace, of earth refined 7 times. How does that contrast with the wicked? Well, remember, their speech is vain. It's duplicitous. The Lord's, well, it's pure. As a matter of fact, it's so pure, it's like silver refined in a furnace of earth 7 times. That's how pure it is. That's as close of a similitude as we can get to the purity of the Lord's speech. Now, contrast that with the wicked, and then you'll have the stark difference between the two. Then verse 7 continues the idea of the Lord's words or his speech. The Lord keeps them. Now, the them here is the words. He keeps those words. He keeps his speech. He keeps them. He keeps them from this generation unto eternity. From every generation into eternity, the words of the Lord are kept. 2 different words for the word keep, for the idea of keeping, is used here, which is important because it just emphasizes, it sort of acts like a tap, it taps on our heads a little bit. This is how significant to the writer this idea is. He keeps his own word. Can the vain do that? Can the wicked do that? Can the sons of men do that? Can they keep their own words? No, they can't even keep up with what they've said. They lie, and then on top of lies, to keep their lies, they lie some more. And then they forget what they've said. No, the Lord's speech is pure, and it's kept by him, doubly kept. Join me tomorrow. We're going to look at verse 8. You don't want to miss tomorrow's broadcast. Verse 8 concludes Psalm 12 and makes this nice comparison with verse 1. So join me then on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.